that we would need to not concur on this so that we could make it the same as the House bill.
Yeah, they've already agreed on $50 compromise point, but we have to not concur on the House bill. Any objection? Seeing none, done. Next.
Okay, the next one is Senate Bill 442, Aquaculture Coordinating Council, application of tidal wetlands permit requirements to aquaculture operations study. This is the bill that requires the Aquaculture Coordinating Council, in coordination with the Maryland Department of the Environment, to review the department's policies regarding the application of tidal wetland permit requirements to aquaculture operations in the state. The House just made some technical amendments to clarify that it applies both to state or tidal wetlands permits, licenses, or permits, because there's a broader universe of licenses and permits that they're concerned about. So I would recommend that we concur.
Any objection? Okay, the committee's on record on concurring. Next.
All right, next one is Senate Bill 350, Natural Resources, Aquaculture, Leases. This is a departmental bill that repeals provisions governing the establishment of aquaculture enterprise zones and authorizes DNR to issue an enterprise lease to a person for the use of waters of the state to assess the feasibility of cultivating aquatic plants for commercial purposes. Again, the House amendments are largely technical, just clarify that the purpose of the leases would be to grow, we already had said native or naturalized species. They just said as those terms are defined in section 4-205 of this title. So I'd recommend to concur.
Any objection to the committee recommending concur? Seeing none, duly noted and done.
Next one is Senate Bill 483, Solid Waste Management, Organics, Recycling, and Waste Diversion, Food Residuals. This one, if you recall, the Senate ended up adding an amendment to the House bill just to provide for a warning to be issued before a person could be penalized for violating the act. The House added those same amendments to the Senate bill, so to keep them consistent, the committee should concur.
Objection? Done. Thank you.
And then the last one for me, this is Senate Bill 227, Water Pollution, Stormwater Management Regulations, and Watershed Implementation Plans, Review and Update. This is the bill that requires the Department of the Environment to update specified stormwater management regulations and criteria once every 5 years. The House amended the bill to add in Maryland Association of Soil Conservation Districts and an association that has expertise in stormwater restoration projects to the list of groups that the department would have to consult with. This just makes it consistent with the House bill, as this committee has already passed it. So again, to keep them consistent, we should concur.
Any objection? Okay.
That's all
Done.
for me.
Alexis.
So I have two. The first should be pretty easy. Senate Bill 684. This is concur and not concur. So this deals with licensure of certified midwives. Essentially, the House made technical amendments to make sure that everything is identical. So nothing controversial on the piece, just adding language there.
Okay, so the recommendation is concur? Yes. Okay. Seeing none, that is the will of the body. Next.
All right, so House Bill 135, which deals with pharmacist administration of maintenance injectable medications. This is a recede or not to recede. So I won't have a recommendation on this one. These seem like policy questions. So there are three sticking points between the Senate bill and the House bill as it's returned to us. So when we amended House Bill 135, we added template form provisions that a pharmacist had to give to a patient before administering the maintenance injectable med. And this, I'm sorry? Okay. And so essentially, lengthier template form, notification about insurance. In addition, maintenance injectables will include sexually transmitted diseases, and a study was tapped onto this. So House rejects all three of those provisions and requests we recede.
Okay. Senator Lamb and I talked. Do you want to speak to it, or you want me to? Whatever you want.
When you can go ahead.
Okay. Look, I spoke to the chairman of HGO, I don't know, over the weekend sometime. They simply aren't convinced and will reject or resist any amendments other than the original bill and not include the STI issues. So we can do whatever we want to do based on that knowledge, and we shouldn't always react to the House, but at the end of the day, we have to decide if we want to sit on it, not move it, pass it without that amendment. So let me defer to the sponsor.
Well, just to be clear, I'm not the sponsor of the bill, but so it's not my bill. Right. So I think a large sticking point is the STI kind of provision to allow pharmacists to actually administer. Oftentimes, it's just one antibiotic injection to be able to cure them of that STI, or maybe 2 or 3 other ones, subsequent shots as well. This is completely in line with what the bill wants to do. I think they were concerned that they had heard from payers, insurers that had some concerns about this. This was part of our hearing. We had brought this up. It does, I think, present a real access issue, particularly now during a pandemic when people may not be able to get their antibiotics from their primary care providers as much as they would like. We've seen primary care visits go down by quite a bit. This is actually a CDC recommendation right now to allow pharmacists to be able to apply and administer antibiotics for STIs. I suggest that we go to a conference committee to see if we can address any of these other issues.
I understand that we would want to support our Senate amendments, but if what I'm hearing from the chair on the House side, if it means losing the whole bill and these other benefits that pharmacists can provide to constituents, I'm concerned about risking that, especially these services in rural areas are very important.
Yeah, Senator, I think we should just fight this battle another day and keep the bill. And you may be absolutely right on this amendment. I'm just not sure there's going to be movement, and I don't know if we want to go to conference. I'm just not convinced, to be honest with you, with all due respect. Anyway, the motion's been made to not concur and go to conference. Is there a second? That goes down. So then the other motion is to concur with the House amendments? Is that right?
Technically recede.
Recede,
Yes.
okay. Any objection to receding? 1, 10 to 1 will recede. You have one more? Ms. Goodman.
Senate Bill 283, Student and Military Voter Empowerment Act. If you recall, this bill establishes various requirements relating primarily to voting registration and voting by military overseas voters and students at institutions of higher education in the state. The House amendments, if you recall in the bill, the bill required the state board to establish a process for an individual to submit the federal postcard application electronically and using the common access card to sign the federal postcard. The House amendments essentially limit the use of how the common access card is used to verify the identity of the individual, and it cannot be used alone to register the individual to vote.
Well, that was the implication anyway. This is just to clarify that?
Yes.
Okay. And that's their amendment?
That is their amendment to the Senate bill.
Okay. So we want to accept their amendment?
That would concur, yeah.
Anybody object? It's technical, in my view. Okay. Any objection to concurring? Done. Last one.
That's it. I'm done.
We're voting. We still have a long list. And I don't know when we're going back, so we're going to have 2 or 3 hours of voting this afternoon. I'll announce on the floor when it is. So, I've got, 15, 18 bills, 20 bills, and I know House members are crying for a lot of others. We'll try to get through as many as we can. Okay, to the floor. Thank you.